What is going on, everyone? Thank you all so much for tuning back in to another recap here on Tuesday, and let's jump right into another one. So, today was a pretty similar day to yesterday in terms of how I performed. As you guys could see, not that many filled orders again because of kind of the new way I told you guys I'm approaching trading. I'm not looking to have like 50 fills on the day. I think that's not really in my best interest. I want to basically limit myself to taking only like two or three trades on the day, but making sure that they're really worth it if they were to go my way. And yeah, so three buys and three sells, and I only traded TQs today. Unlike yesterday, I only traded SQs. Today, I only traded the reverse. And unfortunately, I did have another red day today, and I came out with a loss of 102.38 today. So right around 2% I was down on the day. I am using $5,000 to trade, and I want to go ahead and walk through with you guys what went wrong today in terms of why it was a red day. So this was right around the market open at 6:30, and unfortunately today it's gonna sound like a bunch of excuses, but I woke up late today. I usually never do that. I woke up like at 6:55, and right around then the market already had this nice little move here. This was opening at 6:30 like I told you guys, and headed into pre-market, or heading into the market open during pre-market. I always like to pay attention to that, like I tell you guys time and time again, because it can give you a direction of where the Nasdaq wants to go on the day when the market opens up. And it did want to try and follow this uptrend pattern since it was trending above the middle VWAP here. So when it got close to here again at 6:30 in the morning, just like yesterday, it did start shooting up again, and it had a nice gap up to the top VWAP here. And just like, unfortunately, not like yesterday though, the Nasdaq did not continue rallying, just like in the 5-day 5-minute. Let me show you in yesterday's pattern, right? Yesterday, leading into the market open, this was yesterday right around 6:30 in the morning. The market really had a nice gap up, right? It just constantly kept gapping up. And yesterday, I lost all my money thinking that there was going to be a big play on it on the day, which there did end up being. But the market continuously kept pushing up above the top VWAP. Nothing crazy, but it was just continuously making higher highs, so it made me uncomfortable. And by the time this move came, I had already been stopped out on the day, so I couldn't take part in any of it. But a play like that is what I was kind of looking out for yesterday. So today, I only traded TQs because by the time I hopped up on the market right around 6:55 in the morning, that's right around here, after the Nasdaq already had a nice push up and got rejected. So just like yesterday, for my strategy, it wouldn't be the dumbest to have looked for SQs play near the top VWAP, right? Given the fact that in the past 5-day 5 minutes, the Nasdaq, anytime it touches the top VWAP, always tends to follow with a nice little pullback, right? It did that here, ended up pulling back, did it up here, ended up pulling back, and multiple times, right? Sometimes it may be a bit of a fake out, like yesterday it got me, because it falls, pushes above the top VWAP, falls, and kept going higher. But ultimately, it had no type of crazy breakout, right? It's still trending pretty close to that top VWAP. And today, we did not get a play like that because I did wake up late today. So the reason why I only have TQs orders today, and as you guys can see, my first trade was at 8:26, so that was like a whole 2 hours after the market opened up, was because once I saw the market was right around here, the middle VWAP, I didn't feel comfortable taking a trade because I only want to take a trade if it approaches near the top VWAP for potential play for SQs down, or if it approaches the bottom VWAP for a potential play for TQs up. I never like to really get in towards this middle area because I find it's followed with a lot of chop, like it did end up having here, right? It had a lot of fake outs. It would have a green candle acting like it was going to go up, just to fall back down, go back up, fall back down, right? A lot of just chop. That's why I tend to want to stay away from trading anything in the middle area. And past 5-day 5 minutes, the pattern I've seen that made me want to get into TQs if it got lower here is because anytime it's approached the bottom VWAP, it has tended to have a nice little rally, right, to the top VWAP, and vice versa. Anytime it's approached the top VWAP, it's looked a little more overbought recently. and it wanted to sell off after that, right? So it wanted to trend kind of between this little channel here, the top and bottom VWAP, and that is why I want to kind of not take any trades towards the middle areas. You could still definitely make money on it, but I find it's maybe not the most clear and the best like risk to reward. Because if you go on towards the top, you can always look for a play all the way to the bottom. Whereas if you go in the middle, it's only halfway up or down. It seems almost like just a 1-to-1 ratio, win or loss. So that's just not something I want to take part in. So, excuse me, guys, I have been sick, so I'm having to clear my throat. But so right after that, I did see my first potential entry after I was patiently waiting on TQs at 8:26 in the morning exactly. And that is when it started approaching the bottom VWAP. So I got in at 8:26. The trade did start going green for me. And unfortunately, it was trying to find a direction right around here, whether it wanted to break above the EMA and start going up, or if it wanted to just start falling like it did ultimately do. Because like the previous patterns, I was hoping that TQs right around here would find a support and break above this EMA line here and start trending up again. So I'd look to sell somewhere kind of up here where it's a little more overbought, right? But because I didn't get that, it ultimately fell, stopped me out. This was my risk. So let's say I buy in here. I need to make sure I have a good risk to reward ratio, meaning this was the risk I was giving up. If the Nasdaq fell like 0.25%, whereas I would have been looking to sell kind of anywhere near the middle VWAP SMA line where it can approach a potential resistance, and that would have been right around 3 to 4 times the amount I could have uh, um so 3 to 4 times is what I could have made versus how much I would have lost, right? I would have lost like a quarter of what I could have made. So I did find the trade very worth it, and unfortunately when I got stopped out, I saw a break below the bottom VWAP. I did take another play on TQs at 8:53 because, like I've told you guys before, anytime the Nasdaq has fallen and approached these potential bounces, it has sometimes kind of fallen a little below it, ultimately to start reversing. So I wanted to take that chance. I took another play, and unfortunately, it kept falling, and I did get flushed out for another stop loss, right? For another loss, and there I never got the bounce back that I wanted to see. And my third and final trade was after it did fall again, a little more right around here. Let me show you guys the timestamp. It was at 9:04 in the morning. And 9:04 in the morning is right around here after we saw another drop below the bottom VWAP. I thought, okay, I'm going to try taking another one. I'm going to have a tighter stop loss just for a lower low, wherever it is. And that would be enough for me to really think it's not going to rally anymore, because by then there would have been a nice sized kind of move below the bottom VWAP. It's not like any times before it's kind of creeped below it a bit and then bounced, right? I saw there was a lot of room after it were to stop me out that it could fall, so it did end up stopping me out kind of right as it fell below this little green candle, if you can see here. That was my new stop loss, and I'm very happy I cut losses, obviously, because what I feared came true, and the market did end up having a nice little other aggressive sell-off, right? And the reason for that is because if you look at it on the other time frames, it now broke the pattern right around here, right? It broke the pattern of any time it were to come back down to the bottom VWAP, this yellow line, it would kind of hold above it, right? Maybe creep a little below it and go. It finally broke that pattern, and once everyone saw this on the bigger picture, right, that it wasn't holding that pattern, naturally fell below the bottom VWAP and kept falling a good little amount, that it did have this nice other little push to the downside, and did end up trying to recover a little bit, but that's why I did cut losses where I did, because I didn't know where the bottom of this was gonna be, right? All I knew was that everyone looking at it on the bigger time frames like I did saw this break a pattern, and that would be a cause for more selling pressure to form in, right? Because no one knows where the bottom is gonna be, and it's looking like it wasn't gonna try and hold like it previously did. And another reason I want to point out why I was kind of looking for a big TQ splay here was because the market has somewhat been making these higher lows, right? Ever since 9-23 to 23rd of this month, it's made a low here, pushed up, the top VWAP fallen, and the lows it had were even higher than it had here. which in my opinion is what led to a good sign yesterday of making the market really want to rally. And today I kind of saw that same thing, which is why I do believe there was a nice green candle here. All that needed to happen was for this play to break above this EMA line and kind of really start showing signs that it was going to go. And I don't think, I don't see why it couldn't have pushed up to these previous levels or it was at and validated the same pattern, right? I chose to take multiple trades down here, kind of banking on TQs, and I did end up paying the price for that. So you can always limit yourself to only taking like 2 trades a day if you want. I decided to take the third, but ideally it would be better to end even under down 2% on the day, right? Even though each trade maybe could have made me double that, so I could be up like 4% if both trades went my way. I still think that I can even manage my risk that much more by maybe not taking that third trade if I don't have to. It's really not necessary, and it'll allow my losses on the day to be right around $75 to $85 on the day, which is a lot better than like 100, 120, right? So yeah, that's what I want to leave you guys off on. Unfortunately, we didn't get the same type of pattern here. It didn't end up pulling back up for TQs ultimately. It used this blue EMA line to keep making lower highs, and it did sell off quite a bit. So yeah, I'm very thankful I was able to still have, not have the biggest red day because Tesla did soar today, and that's just something me and my brother are holding. We've been holding that for a while. That's a swing trade. That's why we don't pay attention to it in our day trading recaps. And yeah, that's just it, guys. What could I have done better? First off, try and make sure I wake up on time for the market open to not avoid these nice little patterns or potential plays. And on top of that, maybe I only look to take 2 trades, and if they go south, just not take the third to really kind of minimize my losses as much as possible and maximize for when it does go my way, my profits to still be able to end green on the week, right? Just where we stand on the 180 day, the Nasdaq is still looking like it could keep tanking, and it's not unrealistic to think that we can make new lows on the 180 day or anything like that. But obviously, there can always be that room for upside because the market has been selling off a lot. Just be mindful for both and kind of do your part in analyzing what you think would be best for you to focus on for that day. So, thank you guys all so much for showing up for another recap. It really means the world to me and my brother. And yeah, we'll see you guys all tomorrow. Take care.